Girl a hot, girl sweet like a honey. X to the 5, me not drive in a sunny. Vicky have a secret, Gianni funny. Man come up, me no beg them no money. Watch till you buff, any which way me turn it. 10 pound ton chatterbox.
That's a video of one of Davida Selby's recent trips to Ghana. She's the owner and founder of the lifestyle brand Kate, Lynn and Adwoa. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, Davida, you curate these amazing trips, and you were just telling us about it. But I also want to know, what's been the response of people once they come back from these trips and have taken those barefoot pilgrimage and things of that nature?
Oh my goodness, the response from our travelers have always, like, that pretty much feeds the reason why we continue to do it. Right now we have 4 travelers who have moved to Ghana. The experience is always so impactful, especially on our male travelers, believe it or not. The African-American men who go over, they immediately ask about moving or at least buying a vacation home there. They always say that they feel free. There's something about the culture that, once you see it mirroring the African-American culture that you've grown up with, you really feel like you're home. It's a place that you didn't know that you needed, but now that you've experienced it, there's no way that you can, not go back. So our travelers love the experience.
Yeah, no, that's great. So you yourself, of course, originally being born in Ghana, understanding their heritage deeply, what have you learned as you maybe see your homeland through the eyes of Black Americans? What have you learned about yourself that you didn't necessarily know before?
Absolutely. I learned so much about myself with each one of these trips, right? Being able to experience it through the eyes of our travelers have always been so impactful for me. Even from trying the food, things that I just take for granted, having to explain what fufu is or how you eat banku with stew and not with soup, little things that, we've always just practiced in our home, having to explain that to our travelers and getting great joy from it, or explaining how some of our foods match grits, right? And like putting it in layman's terms for African Americans where they would understand it. How we make our okra and how it's very similar to like their gumbo. So I get to experience it and learn so much about, the privileged place that I've also been able to exist in, knowing the American culture and the Ghanaian culture in the same way. So it's always really beautiful. And, I'm honored every single time that I get to share this culture and heritage with our travelers.
Yeah, it's also a pleasure and privilege of those of us born here in America as Black folk to have someone like yourself, Davida, who is willing to usher and shepherd what that could look like. That's fantastic. Now Ghana is actually the only country in Africa that allows for any Black person born outside of the continent to live there as long as they want to, and eventually, after just a few years of being there, you can get citizenship. Do you think that's a big reason that so many Black, we talked about 5,000 Black people from America moving to just Ghana in the last 2 years. Do you think that's a large reason for that number?
I think our Office of Diaspora has done an amazing job of really marketing the country and, improving our tourism. Because I could tell you 10 years ago, this was not the experience going to Ghana. But they've done a really good job with, offering, citizenship to African Americans. Just December 22nd, they just had their big citizenship program. And it was just beautiful to see so many African Americans actually having dual citizenship now with Ghana. So I do think that is a reason why so many African Americans are moving. The process is a little easier in Ghana.
Yeah. And for those that are really serious, Davida, and there's lots of them, myself included, that are really thinking about this and wanting to explore this, what are just some things that you think we should be thinking about so that we don't over-romanticize this process, right, which is very easy to do, so that we can have, a little bit of a realistic lens as to what living on the continent and in Ghana specifically looks like versus what we have here in America?
That's right. And I'm glad that you said that, over-romanticizing it, because Ghana is not perfect, right? It's great and it's fun, but it's not perfect. So I would really suggest going and, first going with a travel group like ours, where you have someone who is walking you through the entire process to make it a little easier to learn about the culture, understand the different communities. And then I would suggest going for a second time by yourself, right? Where you can really spend time getting to see if this is a place that you could really be comfortable in. Not going during festival season, not going in December, but, just seeing how day-to-day life in Ghana is throughout the year.
Yep.
And then also having a plan in place on how you plan on, making money, because that's also another big thing too, where you can't just move with your savings account. Ghana is expensive, believe it or not. So having a plan in place, but, also going and experiencing it when it's not just festival season.
Absolutely. The real deal. Davida Selby, this is fascinating. So grateful for you and these journeys and the curation that you allow us to experience. It's been a pleasure. Now, have you ever thought about moving abroad for work? Hear how two women say it's impacted their lives. That's right ahead after the break. Stay with us.
Oh, hell no. Are you out of your mind?
Okay, he's supposed to be driving you, not you riding him.
Wasn't it you two ladies who told me, relax your standards, Julia?
Yeah, to relax them, honey, not lay them down by the riverside.
Next week, watch Gabrielle Union in Daddy's Little Girls on The Griot.